fact, the whole system of yoga is just about arranging or rearranging your own form. These 114 chakras, which are certain energy forms by themselves, if we rearrange them in a certain way, the same human being who has just flesh and blood, living within the compulsive nature of that dimension of life, can suddenly be transformed into a higher possibility. It is those people who have transformed themselves or the geometry of their existence to a higher level, either by realization or by understanding or by sheer intensity of energy or emotion. They have transformed themselves into a higher geometric form so that their very presence exudes a completely different dimension of energy, a complete different possibility becomes available around those forms. Then we refer to those forms as divine forms. So in India, such people get referred to as Bhagwan, or there are so many other names which essentially means godlike or divine. The nature of the human body has come with a certain arrangement. Probably most of you have heard about how a certain person predicted Gautama, the Buddha's future. He said he will either become a great emperor or a great saint. So this may, for logical minds, this may look like, oh, this is, come on, this or that. Both sides of the coin, if you say you are bound to be right. No, he's only talking about looking at the intensity of the geometry. He's saying either in the material world he will achieve great things. Because he's a king's son, he's saying maybe he will become a great emperor. Or because of a certain observation, if such intensity is there in the child, why would he waste his time ruling over people? He would rather embrace them, which is more sensible to do. He would rather transform them, which is more sensible to do. So, he said the intensity is going beyond being an emperor, being a king's son, probably he will become an emperor. But when I look at the intensity of the geometry, maybe he will become a great sage. So the geometry of the body, rearranging the geometry of the body is about creating a divine form from an ordinary flesh and bone system that we have. Is something wrong with flesh and bone? Nothing wrong. It comes with its limitations. It's a compulsive form. Is something wrong me being compulsive? Nothing wrong if you don't appreciate what it means to be free. Nothing wrong being compulsive. Is something wrong being a creature on this planet? Nothing wrong. It is just that if you die without exploring the possibility of being something more, human life does not get fulfilled. Every life, from the smallest to the biggest, is aspiring to become a full-fledged life. Because the human being has come with this possibility, which is quite limitless, because of that, people are trying to fix their ambitions and goals in their life. What is a seamless possibility? People are trying to fix it so that they will feel like achievers. If they pass an examination, they feel great. If they get a job, they feel great. If they earn $1 million, they feel great. Some nonsense like this. This is like among the lame people, you're a champion just because you have 2 legs. Human possibility has come with a seamless possibility. There is no way you or me can fix a goal, if I reach this, I'm done. It's a stupid way to culture one's life. If you arrange your inner geometry properly, this becomes a machine to go very far. How far it goes internally is entirely determined by the human being, the individual being. So, how far we get in the world are subject to many things. How far we get within ourselves is just a question of arrangement of geometry, understanding, realization, understanding and the competence of being able to arrange it. The whole yogic system, starting from the physical phase of asanas to everything, is essentially to reorganize or to re-engineer our geometry in such a way that it begins to function in a way that you have not imagined possible till now. To live your life beyond your ambitions. The stupid ambitions have come to you because of a limited society in which you're living. Based on that, if you are a little one step ahead of your neighbor, your ambitions are realized. No, I'm not just thinking about this, I want to be the richest man in United States. It is still among the lame. Among the lame, you're a champion, that's all. So, a seamless possibility need not be encapsulated into something silly based on the circumstances in which we are living right now.
A person went to a spiritual master and asked him, "What shall I gain if I walk the spiritual path?" The master replied, "The gain is twofold. One, all your suffering will come to an end, and two, you will attain the eternal bliss." In Sanskrit, it is known as Atyantik Dukh Nivritti Paramananda Prapti. Atyantik Dukh Nivritti means freedom from all sorrows, and Paramananda Prapti means attainment of supreme bliss. So, this is what happens when you walk the spiritual path. Suffering comes to an end, and you attain the supreme happiness. Happiness which knows no end. Today in this talk, I'm gonna share with you some insights which will throw some light on the cause of your suffering. Because it's only when you recognize the cause of your suffering can you really look for the solution. You harbor within yourself 3 wrong notions, which are the root cause of your suffering. So here they are. The first notion is that you are separate from this world. There is this I which you use to refer to your body, and there is this not I which you call the world, and which exists beyond the tips of your fingers and toes. This is the great delusion. The truth is, you and the world are one. And when I say world, I don't mean only the people who live in it. When I say the word world, I mean the whole creation. Right from a blade of grass to the biggest galaxy. There is one consciousness in the whole creation, which is appearing as the world, as animals, as trees, as people, as you. Believe it or not, you are that consciousness. It is this idea of separation which lies at the root of your suffering. All fears exist because of this separation. Once you know that it's only you everywhere, it's only you appearing as this world, as its people, all fears, all suffering will then come to an end. And don't make this mistake of thinking that this realization is meant only for the chosen few. No, it is everyone's birthright. You are born with it. All that you need is recognition of that truth. The second wrong notion that you harbor within yourself is to consider oneself as this limited body-mind complex. And this identification with the body makes you undergo tremendous suffering. Don't you think so? To think that you're born one day and will die someday is a terrible mistake. Of course, the body takes birth. There is no doubt about that. It will die one day. It is also a fact. But to think that you take birth and will die someday is the biggest lie, I would say. You are the birthless and deathless consciousness. You are unborn, so the question of your death doesn't at all arise. You are the immortal consciousness, but you can't realize this because of this strong identification with body and mind. Once a seeker asked a spiritual master, "How difficult is self-realization?" The master replied, "It all depends on you. You are missing it 1,000 times in a second." Just ponder over what this master said. You are missing it 1,000 times in a second, which means the truth is always here and now, but you are constantly missing it. Tell me, who then is to blame? Now, the third wrong notion is that the happiness exists outside of you. This is absolutely wrong. The source of all happiness is within you, within this body-mind complex. But your mind, the ego, makes you feel that happiness is in the external world. It's in people, it's in things, in places. That's why you move from one relationship to another, thinking that this one will really make me happy forever. This is the reason why you look for happiness in the shopping malls. This is the reason why you keep looking for this happiness in holiday packages. But live with anyone, buy the most expensive thing, visit the most beautiful place on earth. The happiness that you feel after experiencing all of these will always be short-lived. It will invariably come to an end. The sense of lack that you had before will come back. You yourself have experienced this, haven't you? Blaise Pascal, the great French mathematician and Catholic theologian, said, "There is a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of each man, which cannot be satisfied by any created thing, but only by God." It means the sense of lack that you constantly feel in your life cannot go away until you realize your divine, conscious, infinite nature.